Welcome, ladies and gents. Chris Andre here. You can find me at BetBoxing on Twitter, or of course you can subscribe to the channel. Let's talk boxing. Tomorrow I'm going to be interviewing Steve Kim, fantastic boxing insider, brilliant boxing writer who I've been a big fan of for a number of years. And I've been trying to get him on the channel for a long time, actually. So I'm really excited. We'll be delving into a whole bunch of stuff involving boxing, from Haney and Lomachenko to the heavyweight division, Rolando Romero and what happened with Ishmael Barroso and refereeing and the state of boxing. We're going to get into all of it. And I might upload it in parts, so keep an eye out over the coming week. There'll be a lot of content going up. In the meantime, though, there's been a big breaking news story which just could not wait. It's massive news that could have a real domino effect in the heavyweight division. According to No Smoke Sport, who are very, very good with breaking stories, a family dispute has led to Daniel Dubois sensationally parting ways with his trainer Shane McGUIGAN. Needless to say, this couldn't come at a worse time for Daniel Dubois as he prepares for the biggest fight of his life against Alexander USYK. And this might explain why, in an interview with Seconds Out recently, Shane McGUIGAN was very evasive and elusive when it came to questions about Daniel Dubois' preparation for Alexander USYK. He almost looked uncomfortable when he was trying to avoid the questions. And at the time, my mind went to the fact that there are rumours that Daniel Dubois is still carrying that leg injury, that knee injury. And when he's been asked about how preparations are going and he's avoiding it, I'm thinking, oh, is Daniel struggling a lot more here than they're letting on? Because let's not forget, Team USYK have also spoken about their reservations as to whether Dubois can be ready. They've been saying they don't want to be messed around, and then last minute Dubois pulls out with an injury. So if he's not ready, they want him to step aside. So that's where my mind started to go. However, it seems to be that there has been this dispute. Now, if there has been this family dispute, one of the things that doesn't quite add up to me is, why would he leave Shane McGUIGAN? Let's say he's fallen out with his sister, just for argument's sake, or his father, who is closely related with his career. He's the bigger star of the two siblings. He's the one in the biggest fight of his life. Wouldn't Shane McGUIGAN turn around and say, I understand you guys have had this family feud, but hopefully you guys can sit around a table in the near future and resolve your differences. This opportunity is not going to come about again for Daniel, though, potentially. So I need to focus on preparing him for the biggest fight of his life. So Caroline, perhaps it's a good idea for you to take a bit of a sabbatical from this gym. Just step outside of the gym. I'll put you in touch with a trainer that I really trust. You can keep ticking over. And when this fight is over and done with, hopefully you guys can resolve your issues and we can all come back to the gym and play happy families. But in the meantime, I have to prioritize the preparations of Daniel Dubois. Wouldn't that make the most sense? How is it common sense for the A side of the two, so to speak, to step out of the gym? The only thing that makes sense to me, and this is just me speculating, is that whatever took place in this family dispute led to Shane McGUIGAN taking the side of the family. So let's say, for argument's sake, Dubois is having issues with his knee. Maybe Shane McGUIGAN agrees with Daniel's father, for instance. Like I said, this is just me speculating, that Daniel should postpone the fight. And Daniel's saying, no, I need to take this fight. It's the biggest opportunity of my life. Or maybe it's the other way around. Daniel's saying, guys, I'm really not ready. And they're trying to push him. And they're saying, what are you talking about, Daniel? You can do this. And he doesn't have faith in his knee right now. And so these disagreements, or whatever else it could be, has led to Shane taking the side of the family. Now, in terms of the USYK-Dubois fight, it has stalled in terms of negotiations. They were unable to agree terms in the 30-day period that they were given. And so as a result of that, they've been informed that purse bids will be called. Now, there have been various rumours as to why. Obviously, you always get the rumours about the figures and them arguing about money. There have also been rumours about location being an issue. London and Saudi Arabia, of course, have been put on the table, but so has Poland. And for those of you that might not be aware, Poland and the Ukraine are political allies. They are neighbouring nations. Many Ukrainians who have fled the conflict in their homeland have moved to Poland. And so as a result of that, if Alexander USYK was to fight in Poland, make no mistake, it would be a very partisan crowd in favour of Alexander USYK. It would be filled to the brim with Ukrainians. It would essentially be a homecoming fight for the unified heavyweight champion of the world. Despite that, however, in terms of revenue, it might not generate as much money as London or Saudi Arabia as a location. So maybe the problem is where USYK wants the fight to happen compared to with making the numbers marry up with that. Now, there's also another possibility, of course, and that is that Daniel Dubois has been purposely difficult in delaying the process to buy himself time in order to overcome this injury that he's got. Whatever the case might be, if this fight was to fall through, according to Dan Rayfield, the WBA have informed him that they do have a replacement ready to step in for Daniel Dubois, and that would be Deontay Wilder. He'd be the one that would be called to fight Alexander Usyk. However, before you start salivating at this mouth-watering prospect, I have a feeling that if that was to happen, Deontay Wilder would not take up the offer. I mean, think about this for a moment. Both men are potentially, if rumours are to be believed, going to be fighting in Saudi Arabia in a massive money four-man tournament. And I know Alexander Usyk has been saying, again, that talks with Fury for a December fight have been stalling, but that he believes the fight will happen sooner or later. I know that is the case. But these could just be negotiating tactics. They're never going to be offered more money than they are to fight in December. And even if Fury Usyk doesn't happen in December, from what we're hearing from all sides, AJ Deontay Wilder will be happening in December. And that is such a huge money fight. Is Deontay Wilder going to risk losing to Alexander Usyk and potentially either scuppering that fight or affecting the value of that fight? By the same token, Deontay Wilder for Alexander Usyk stylistically offers a threat. I'm not saying he beats him necessarily, but you can touch Alexander Usyk, particularly early in fights. While he's downloading data, he can be hit. And you don't want to be in a position where you're eating right hands early from Deontay Wilder. If he goes and gets cleaned out in the first few rounds, what happens to that undisputed title fight for Alexander Usyk? Especially the age he's at now, it's over. So I'd be very surprised if this fight happens, even if it's called, just because both men would have too much to lose financially. Let me know what you think about that. Let me know what you think about the whole saga regarding Daniel Dubois, Shane McGUIGAN. Does this really affect his prospects of winning the fight, in your opinion? I know a lot of you will have Alexander Usyk as a hot favourite, but even if you gave Daniel Dubois just 10% chance of winning, do you now only give him 5%? Or do you think that sometimes when you're faced with these insurmountable obstacles, or at least that's the perception from most people, it makes you bite down on your gum shield? Let's not forget when George Groves gave a phenomenal performance in the first fight against Carl Froch, he had just lost his trainer in Adam Booth, and that made him want to silence the critics even more and prove to the world he could do it. And he lost that fight very controversially. And if you think that Alexander Usyk against Daniel Dubois will not happen, do you think that Usyk Deontay Wilder will happen? Please don't forget to hit a stiff jab on the like button, a right cross on the subscribe button, and an uppercut on the notifications button. Thanks for watching. Chat to you soon. Take care. God bless.